Well, we are back to normal news mode, so in this video we're going to have only real and very serious information. And by the way, this is episode number 50. I make these episodes weekly, so subscribe to the channel not to miss the future content. And before we start, of course, I'd like to thank to all my amazing Patreon and not only Patreon supporters. And we start with San Francisco and Caltrain. As it turned out, thanks to regenerative braking, new Stadler trains are more efficient, so the operator is revising its electricity cost estimates from $19.5 million per year to $16.5. So the purchase of new trains, which cost $166 million, should pay off in 55 years. It is reported that the regenerative braking of new trains generates and sends back to the wires approximately 23% of the energy consumed by the system. And it is great, of course, but however, it is not clear what awaits such projects and initiatives in the future, as President Trump has withdrawn the United States from the Paris Climate Agreement and has clearly aimed to support fossil fuels industry. Meanwhile, in Paris, they celebrated the opening of the Gustave-Roussy station between the Olympic Stadium and Orly Airport, making the last station of the Line 14 Southern Extension completed ahead of the 2024 Paris Olympics. And this station is an important milestone in development of the metro network, which will be extended with 4 additional lines by 2031. Its design, which has 9 underground levels and platforms at a depth of 50 meters, was developed by the Bureau of French architect Dominique Perrault. The station looks really impressive inside, but why is this sign hanging behind the column? I think it's quite strange. Currently, the station has started serving passengers on the Line 14, and in the summer of 2026 it will also serve line number 15. Wolności Square in the Polish city of Łódź won the first prize in the competition of the Polish Urban Planners Association as the best public space in Poland in 2024. The square has got a new functional layout and more greenery in its central part thanks to a development project prepared by architects from A2P2 Architecture and Planning and MAM Architecture. Until recently, the square was crossed by tram tracks and roadways and was used mainly for transportation. Moreover, concrete pavement with a few green spaces made the place unwelcoming, especially on hot days. So reconstruction completed in spring of 2024 cleaned up the square and made it a more cozy place for residents and tourists. Concrete paving was partly replaced with greenery, 64 trees, thousands of bushes and grasses. The surface was designed to direct to the green spaces as much rainwater as possible, reducing the need for artificial irrigation. These green zones allows rainwater to be retained within the area instead of being discharged into the sewer system, and also variety of plants increase biodiversity and provide food for birds and insects. By the way, I visited this square before the reconstruction, and looking at these photos, I have to admit that now it looks much better. Meanwhile, in Chile, after 18 years of shutdown, the train came back to the city of Puerto Montt. So far, it was just a demo ride, and the restored line is scheduled to start carrying passengers in March of this year. The last time when train arrived at La Paloma station in the capital of Los Lagos region was in 2007, when it stopped operating because of technical problems. The line connecting Yanquihue with Puerto Montt is 7.4 kilometers long and has 4 stations: La Paloma, Alerce, Puerto Varas and Yanquihue. The total cost of its restoration was $7.8 million. In Gothenburg, Sweden, they began operation of the first new M34 trams, which have already been nicknamed Super Tram by locals due to their 45-meter length. I mean, length of trams, not locals. The city has ordered a total of 60 of these trams, which are currently being built at Alstom's Bautzen plant. With a length of 45 meters, each car can accommodate 319 passengers and thus help cope with the growing passenger traffic in Gothenburg. The first car, number 601, was delivered to Sweden in August 2024, and now the tram cars are gradually being introduced into regular passenger operation. And this should be completed by 2026. And now we move to Quito, the capital of Ecuador, where they began receiving the first new trolleybuses from their order for 60 units from the Chinese company Yutong. They are 18 meters long, can accommodate 160 passengers, and are also equipped with rechargeable batteries which allow them to travel up to 75 kilometers outside the contact network. In general, trolleybus traffic in Quito was launched in 1995, and one of the reasons for its introduction was that electric engines, unlike diesel ones, don't lose power at the altitude of almost 3,000 meters above sea level, which is the height of the Ecuadorian capital. Until these days, they use articulated trolleybuses built by Mercedes-Benz, and as of now they have covered over 1 million kilometers each, so the need to replace them was quite important. And finally, in Australia, Siemens Mobility has presented a realistic model of a new car for a 23-kilometer long metro line that will connect Sydney City and the Western Sydney Airport. The trains are to be fully self-driving, and a total of 12 trains are to be produced. The total value of the contract, which also includes 15 years of maintenance, is 900 million euros. And that's all the news for this time. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching and see you in the next videos.